was actually able to arrange his schedule and come and be with us. We already know in Austin, the Bishop of Austin, Archbishop of Austin, Texas, has sent a letter out welcoming us. Last night up in Charleston, we had a representative from the bishop come to our gathering to say, welcome, we stand for immigration reform. This is really a sign of unity, where people of faith all over our country are coming together to say, we the people of the United States insist on a moral stand where everyone's welcomed in. Now what we want to do tonight is to share some of the stories, because we've already been on the road 5 days, I think. We don't know. It feels like it. We were on the bus yesterday, and I could not figure out what day of the week it was. It was a little confusing. So it's sort of like a nursing home where you have to put up the day. And the walls are kind of padded, so maybe that's it. But what we discovered on our trip are amazing, amazing stories of valiant people struggling really hard, and of the folks coming together to create a great economy, but the challenges that we're facing. So 2 of our folks are going to do a little sharing some of our stories, then I'll do a little piece, and then what we'll do is we'll open it up for your questions. Because one thing that happens, okay, I live in Washington, D.C., and I can very easily become so focused on the detail of politics. Do you ever talk to somebody about something and you just see their eyes kind of glaze over? Well, we don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some basic stuff, and then we're going to open it up for questions so we know what you want to know, and you will educate us in the process. Okay? Does that sound fair? Okay, good. So my 2 sisters, Sister Elaine, are you game to go first this time? Okay. Sister Elaine Betancourt is a sister of St. Joseph from Hartford, Connecticut, and she's going on the bus the whole trip, and she started in Hartford, and she's
Hello everyone, it's great joy to be here. One of the benefits that we try to raise up as we're moving around the countries and the various sites that we are visiting is that this immigration reform will benefit our country economically. It seems to be that a lot of people don't believe that. They think that it will cost us money and it will be detrimental to the economy of our country. The opposite is true. And one of the first visits that we had was in Scranton, where the mayor welcomed us. And he told us the story that there was a neighboring town to Scranton who had very discriminatory and hostile laws toward the immigrant population, which forced those folks to come over to Scranton. And since they came en masse into Scranton, the country has, the city has just blossomed, and the economy has been greatly enhanced. And he also told us that there were over 30 languages spoken in the high school. So there's a great diversity of immigrant populations in Scranton. So that's kind of a proof story that immigration reform and better conditions for our immigrant brothers and sisters will definitely benefit the United States. And I think that this is a message that people need to hear, because I think there's a strong belief that the opposite is true.
It really was a treat to hear about the stores that had opened up, one right after another. And then we had this amazing food that the various restaurants had brought, and we can testify that, my heavens, they have great food, and we'd go back to the restaurants for sure. But the biggest surprise to me was that there is a big population from Bhutan, a small little country in north of India, between India and China, but they reported that over 66,000 Bhutanese are in our country. And they have, if you get to have Bhutanese food, it was amazing. So we highly recommend it, but it was a surprise. But it also made us realize that food, just like some of us were over at Liturgy, like Eucharist, is a way of people coming together and of welcoming each other in. So I had both pupusas and Bhutanese dumplings on the same plate. It was fabulous. Okay, and Sister Rosemary. Sister Rosemary Trask joined us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, I'm not supposed to goof off with my southern accent, which is really bad. But the important thing was that Sister Rosemary is a Sister of Mercy and has been with us a whole 2 days? 2 days now. So she's a veteran on the bus. Sister Rosemary.
Well, as I look out here, I see a lot of this wonderful, wonderful crowd. And I want to say to those of you who are already citizens, you probably think you're here because you want to help our brothers and sisters, our immigrant brothers and sisters, especially those who are undocumented, because of the injustices and suffering. But I'm going to tell you that we're also here to help those of us whose ancestors were here at the Revolutionary War, who came in the great waves of immigrants from the Germans and the Italians and the Irish, because it is going to make our country a stronger and better country. And we met in Charlotte with a group of business people, businessmen and women. They told us of their need for agricultural workers. We have a lot of tobacco farms, and we're the biggest Christmas tree farming place in the country. We also spoke with a woman who has a bakery that employs 10 employees and serves both the Anglo and the Hispanic community. I love the Ponderillas. I've lived along the border for a while. We also spoke to a man who trains people to be immigrants, to be entrepreneurs. And he told us that more than a fourth of all new businesses, which create jobs in our country, are started by immigrants. And he also spoke of the need for much more technical people with technical expertise, which many of our immigrants have or would like to learn in the schools if we let our young people finish their college. So I've met many brilliant, brilliant young people who have studied and worked hard but need the opportunity. So let's keep thinking about our desire for immigration reform as something that will help our entire country, both economically and also from a standpoint of a much more just country.
Okay, so we are here for immigration reform for the 100%. We're here to improve our economy. We're here to make sure that kids with education get work. We're here to alleviate fear and suffering. And the thing that I've come to know is that our nation is crippled by fear. And we have been driven apart from each other by manipulation through fear. And fear paralyzes us. We pull up our drawbridge, we hide out, we get afraid of who's next to me. Remember soon after September 11th, 2001, there was that horrible thing about keep your eyes open and report anything suspicious. And we weren't to talk to anyone. Remember that? Well, that continues in many subtle ways where we don't know each other. And I, as a person of faith, know that Jesus was all about calling us to community. All about making us one body. All about saying, you don't go off by yourself and be an apostle. He always sent people 2 by 2 at a minimum. So the fact is, I say, it is an unpatriotic lie that we're based in individualism. We are all in this together. Together gives us some responsibilities. It's not like, you can just say, oh, that's nice, how wonderful that we're here. That's it, not it. It is not it at all. The side of our bus, if you saw it, besides Networks Nuns on the Bus, is the bottom tagline says, drive for faith, family, and citizenship. One way of thinking about that is a path to citizenship for the undocumented who are in our country, an earned path to citizenship. But the other piece that is as equally important